This is a game changer, and it's not gonna pass. It's time to kick Congress to the curb. Donald Trump has once again tried to put in a bill to put term limits on Congress. He's been trying to do this since 2016. This is the bill he just submitted, cap term limits at 12 years for senators and 6 for representatives. Reason being, these people right here are the deciding factor in which that passes. You need 2/3 of all of Congress to vote yes, and 3/4 of all state legislature to do the same thing. That is quite literally the hardest thing to do in all of politics, is changing this thing right here. This small but mighty bill has absolutely no chance of ending up right here. Because when corrupt people with no morals and values have a cash cow that is flooding in, they will do anything to stop that from going away. The average congressperson makes $174,000 a year. That's base pay from our tax-paying dollars. That doesn't include the money and the kickback from lobbyists, from campaigns, and any other back-end deals that might be happening. It also does not include the myriad of backdoor stock market deals that happen because these people have insider information, i.e. insider trading, which is a massive, massive federal offense. Meanwhile, they're not typically doing it themselves. They're having other people around them do it for them, as well as any other back-end deals as well, such as benefiting family companies that maybe not run by them legally, but it's run by a mother, a brother, a sister, whatever have you, a wife or a husband, and that money's getting funneled through them. So the wealth increases and increases and increases. Why do you think that all these people have the McMansions that they have, the yachts, the cars, the jets? That doesn't come out of nowhere. And it's certainly not covered by $174K a year, even though $174K a year is buku bucks to the average American. The average American cannot even dream of this much money. Can you even imagine what that even look like physically? And on average, Congress is in session 130 to 160 days a year. The average American working a 9-to-5 and not working any secondary job works 210 days a year. And they say, it is not an easy job. I'm sure it's a high-stress job. I'm sure there's pressures. I'm sure that there is a lot of blackmail and all kinds of horrible stuff that happens behind the scenes. Don't get me wrong. And the workload doesn't end when work is out of session. But I can tell you that a majority of this stuff going on behind the scenes is being taken care of by staffers. It's also a lot of just going to events, galas, parties, schmoozing, talking to other people, and sitting together in a room and trying to figure out where they can meet in the middle and how they can deal with something. And these people don't have a real reason to affect any real change because people just keep electing them in. Just keep electing them in, and there's no term limit, so they can just kind of take their time as much as they want because what does it matter? We can be here until we're 95 years old and literally can't even fucking see or think straight. Several people on both the left and the right, 105 years old, and they can't even think straight and they're pooping their pants, okay? And yet they're making $174,000 a year plus. Tell me how that's fair. But if everybody's too busy looking over there and not keeping these fuckwads accountable, yeah, nothing's gonna change. And this bill should be ratified. It should be implemented. And I say that all of these people that say no to this bill right here all need to be investigated every which direction and figure out where their money is coming from. Because it's not coming from nowhere. I can promise you that. And when they get found out for the obvious fraud that they're committing, give them the boot. As DJT's slogan was in his first campaign, drain the swamp. That's where that slogan came from. That's what he was trying to do in that first election year. So what can we do to effectuate this change? Because Anybody can come on here on the internet and cry about how things are so terrible and nothing can change and you have nothing to live for in your life. And none of us have any power to do anything at all. Candace Owens. But we can do something. It's called picking up your phone, either this way or this way, telling your local congressman that you want this bill to pass. And there is another extremely key thing that we can do too. Because what they've been doing is abusing what our founding fathers created in our Constitution. They're abusing that. And that needs to be stopped. The one thing that our founding fathers did right, amongst many, but probably the best thing that they did, was make it so that this thing was always able to be changed. Because they knew that they weren't infallible. And they knew that times would change and new issues would arise and there were things that needed to be changed and done. We need to ratify this Constitution to create change and set these term limits. And the last thing that we can do in order to ensure that is showing up to the polls. You know, many of us think that election season starts and ends with the presidential one every 4 years and anything else doesn't matter. That is completely incorrect. The midterm elections are arguably way more important than presidential ones because although the president can affect quite a bit of change, obviously, as we've seen, Congress makes the most change. So hit them where it hurts in their votes. So I will see you at the polls.